everyone, welcome back to our channel Trailhead Ranger NJ, and we are continuing the series of Apex trigger scenarios which are real time based. It will be helpful for you that you can use those scenarios or similar scenarios, even the approach of it in your projects, or even while you will be giving interviews. Interviewer may ask similar questions to that because those are very common scenarios, very basics. These scenarios are just to clear your basics. Even interviewer only wants to check that if your basics are clear or not, if you are following all the best practices, if you are using the correct standard object or object on which the trigger should be firing, and if you are using the correct DML operations and all things. So in our previous Apex trigger scenario based video, we have covered a scenario where we created a related contact whenever an account is being created having a industry of banking, and then we mapped some field of contact to the account. So you can check that out. And in today's video we are having Apex trigger scenario to that is that if we will be creating the number of contacts which will be equal to the number which we will be entering in the number of location field on the account object. So there will be a field on the account object that is number of locations, and whatever number we will be putting in that field, that amount of contact will be created on that particular account. So this scenario will be covering. So for that, let's first create a number of location field on the account object. For that, we will go to the setup, then object manager, and open account. Then we'll go to the field and relationship. You can refer any other field, or even if you can give name, field name, any other, but I'll keep it as number of location for now. So it will be number field, and label would be number of location. Decimal places would be 0. It's not required. That's it. Let's save it. We'll click on next. Then let's have it visible for all the profiles available on the layouts, on all the layouts. So that's it. We have created the field. Now we will go to the VS Studio, and I hope you have already linked your VS Studio to the Salesforce developer org, and if not, then you can check that out, that video as well in the description box. I'll be pasting the link in the description box. And also, if you want to create the Salesforce developer org, which is free, that's also you can refer to the video which I have been which I'll provide the link in the description box. So let's first create a trigger. So I'll give trigger name as account trigger number of locations. Yeah, okay. Now we'll create first its handler class. So we have already talked about that we will not be writing, or we won't write any logic of trigger in the direct trigger class, but we write in the separate handler class to avoid to follow the best practices of Apex trigger. So yes, so we'll be writing all the logic in here. Now we'll remove this constructor, and I'll write the method in which we'll be writing the logic, that is public static void number of location contact. So yes, now this is the method, and this method should receive list of new accounts. So we'll be pasting list of account new list. So that's it for this class. For as of now, we'll deploy this. Now we will move back to the trigger, and in trigger, first of all, we'll change the object to account, because this operation should be performing on account whenever something will be updating or having inserted on the account object, then it should check for the particular things and it should perform our required action. Now should we have it as before or after? So if you remember our previous video, we discussed that whenever we want to perform DML operation, first thing, and second thing, whenever we want to perform the action on the related object, that is here we want to create related contacts. We don't want to perform any action on direct account itself, but we want to create related contacts, so we'll use after. And next is should the operation be insert, delete or update. So the number of location fields, it can have value while we are creating the account record, and it can also be updated while updating the account record. So this operation should be performed on after insert as well as on after update. So now what we'll do, we will check for that if the trigger is after operation, and yeah, and then if trigger is insert, here we will give or scenario, or if trigger is update, then it should call our one brace I was missing, the yes, so it should call our handler class, that is account trigger look number location handler, and its method, that is number of lock contact, and it should pass the trigger dot new list. Trigger dot new list is nothing but whatever the list of account will be updating, the number of account records which will be updating or getting inserted at a time, those will be passed on to this method of this class as a parameter. So I'll just deploy this trigger. Next we'll go back to the handler class to write the logic. Now at first we want to create the contact, so we will declare the list of contact, declare the list of contact to be inserted. So that is list of contact. Now next we want to loop over all the accounts being inserted or updated. So we will loop over account new list, which is passed through the trigger as trigger.new. Then we will check that if the number of location field is having any value. So check if number of location field is having any value, that is it should not be blank. So if let's just go to the Salesforce org and we'll copy its API name. Okay, so there is this one standard field is there, so I will delete my previous one which I created earlier. So we'll copy the existing one. Yes, so I'll go back and paste this API name. So that is this field should not be equals to null, and this field should be having value greater than 0. Then only we will calculate the difference in number of contacts to create. That is how many contacts should be created. This field is number value having the 3 integers. So what we'll do, we'll create a variable that is integer number of contacts to create. You can give your variable name as per your choice. Then we will assign this value to this variable, that is number of locations. Yeah, Now we'll create contacts based on it. So we'll be inside this loop only. Now create contact based on number of location field value. So contact, sorry, we will have to run for loop for each value, that is for each number of locations. So for integer I equals to 0 till it is less than num con to create, it should be incremented each time. So yeah, I'll give you overview at the end of this video as well, once again, that what's the logic we have written here. But I hope you'll be able to follow whatever I'm trying to say. So first of all, what we did, we checked that if this field is having some value, it should not be having zero or null value. If it is having any value, we have assigned it to this variable. You can directly have the loop run for account dot number of location field, but for the simplicity of it, we have just assigned it to a variable. Now we are running for each integer, that is suppose if we are having 3 value here, so for each it should be created one contact. So for that we have written this 4. Now for each contact we'll give it name as new con, that is new contact. Now we will assign few of its mandatory uh, field values, that is last name. It should be having the name copied from account name. It is not mandatory, we are just doing it for our sake. And let's have the integer assigned to it, that is the space and then I. Yeah, so suppose if our account name is test, so it will be having name as test 1 or 0. Yeah, so then it should be linked to account. So for that we'll map account id. Now we'll close this. Now the contact should be added. In earlier video we had also discussed, that is all contacts should be added to the list which we had declared on top. So con list should add this new con. Now after all of this for loop functioning, we will check if this list is empty or not. Con list is empty. If not, then please insert con list. Yes, so let's deploy this and I'll explain it to you once again. Okay, illegal assignment from decimal to integer. We are getting this error because this is a double value. We'll convert this to integer value by using this function, that is int value. Yeah, let's see. So this is deployed. So I'll try to explain the logic once more. Our requirement was that there is a field, that is number of location field on an account, and whatever value we will put on this field, that amount of contacts should be created. So if we have given 2 value in that field, that is 2 contacts should be created on that particular account. So for that, at first we should be performing this trigger on account, because that field is on account, which will be checked. Then second thing is, it should perform on insert and update operation, that is whenever a account is being created, if we will give any value on that field, that is number of location, then also the number of contacts should be created. And if we will give if we will update that field after account being already created, then also the number of contacts should be created. And after action we are using, because we are trying to create related contact, not performing any operation directly on the account itself. Now if we will go to the cloud class, so its logic is, first of all we'll declare the list of contact which we want to insert, then we will loop over all the new list of account which we will be inserting or updating at a time. And again, why we are using list and instead of a single account, because we want to bulkify our code. Our code should be working for number of record at a time, not only for single record or only few records. Then we will check if our number of location field is not null and having any value greater than 0, but this is a double field, that is a decimal field, so we will convert this field value to integer and store it in this variable. Then to create number of contact, we will loop over this variable, that is number con, to create and have it incremented. And to create a contact, we have required field as last name only, and we want to link that particular contact to our account, so we will populate these two fields. And then the number of contact which we will be creating, we are adding all that to this list, and then at the end we will be inserting this list at once. And yeah, here I have made a mistake, it should be I plus 1, because at first the value will be I1, sorry, I equals to 0. So I'll deploy this once again, and then we will move to the Salesforce to test it out. Now let's move here, and if I'll open account, let's first test the related contact account which is already created. So we will check the update functionality. So you can see one contact is already existing and its name is related contact account. But now what we will do is, uh, we'll find that number of location field here, and then we will update its value as 5. And when we will save it, it should create new 5 contacts, and it should have name as related contact account 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So let's try. I have saved it. Okay, so that's great. We have encountered one exception, only 2 contact per account is allowed. Okay, so there is another trigger which is already running. So what I'll do, I'll just go to the apex trigger and I'll make the trigger inactive. That's part of another video, so you can check that video out. Okay, is it this one? So I have made the 2 apex triggers inactive. Let's try to save this once again. It is resolved. So no. Let me just do this for all the trigger which I am having on account. So this one should not be it, but let's make it inactive. Yeah, so it is because of this trigger. We were having we wanted that is not more than 2 contacts should be created on an account, so that's why it was doing it. So now it should be saved. Now it is saved. So let's check on our related. You can see 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 contacts are created, and is account id is already mapped because it is showing on this account related list. and also you can check the contact name as well. Now we will test it out by creating new account, new location account, and what number of locations you want me to give. Let's test it for 10 this time. So we will save it, and you can see 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 and 10. So all are created on the same account. So I hope you understand it, and if you do, please like the video, subscribe the channel, and let me know in the comment section if you have any doubt. And I am very sure that this will help you in your interviews, interview preparation, mock interviews, or any kind of project related work as well. It will clear out your logics that how you can use apex triggers. So yes, if please like it, and thank you, stay tuned.